Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rangam's Empathy Drives Innovation series. The series includes blogs, chats, webinars, and many other features designed to get you ready for the next step in your journey of diversity and inclusion and your job seeking activities. Whether you are a job seeker, employer, educator, or a community partner, REDi Chat will have something for you. Today, I'm really, really excited with two incredible individuals who are successful entrepreneurs with a mission to spread happiness. And they are wonderful, wonderful human beings, amazing individuals whom I've been interacting for last about a year. And every time I have met, I have had a conversation, I have learned something new and inspiration. How often do you hear mission to spread happiness, right? They are driven by purpose to make more and more people smile through their creativity, goodness, and by giving back to the community. Mark is a social entrepreneur, writer, activist, father, husband, and a co-founder, along with his son John, of John's Crazy Socks, a social enterprise with a mission to spread happiness. Mark is also advocate for the rights of differently able people with mission to spread happy with differently able people, and has testified before Congress twice for this cause. Let's welcome John Lee Cronin and Mark Cronin, the two wonderful human beings behind John's Crazy Socks. Welcome, John and Mark, and thank you for coming over.
Oh, Nish, thank you for having us.
Thank you
We're very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. John, earlier we were talking about your busy day today. Would you like to share what you've been working today since this morning?
Yes. This morning we started off. I had a nice talk with Suffolk County with a labor.
The Commissioner of Labor
commissioner.
and her staff from Suffolk County that came in. So we spent a few hours with them.
Yep. And
you gave a tour?
I give them a tour. I'm very talented. And I did. I saw the work groups.
We host work groups from high schools and social
yep.
service agencies.
So
you met with one of them?
High school. And today I was working on with for the pick for tonight.
You're preparing for your Facebook Live show?
And I do my email.
Oh, you took care of email and you wrote some notes for customers?
Yeah, I know.
And his day's only halfway through. You're going to be
it's only 2 o'clock.
I have the here. I gotta eat my lunch.
So I'll tell you an anecdote about John Nish. Now, this is a couple years ago. We participated in a fundraising event for the Special Olympics. It was a young professional mixer in Manhattan. So it was at a very hot club, a lot of Wall Street types, great time. We didn't get home till 3 a.m. And I told John, I said, listen, you haven't had a day off in ages. You should relax, sleep in tomorrow, take the day off. He says, okay. I get up, I come to the office. At 10 o'clock, who comes walking through the door? It's John. So what are you doing?
I got to get back to work.
He says, I got things to do. I took an Uber to the office. You know.
John, I know you are we were talking about Jets and Mets and dance, and tell me what happened earlier. Somebody lost and you were kind of disappointed.
I watching an NFL football game last weekend. We were sad. My 99 Jets fan just lost. I'm not happy about it. And I'll hopefully get to win again.
You were just telling me when I said, "Oh, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about them losing." You said, "Well, it's only the first game, Dad."
It's just first game.
You know, they come time to come back, right?
Yeah, I gonna have time, and the Mets are still first place, and are doing well.
There we go. That's the true fan.
Yeah,
John.
We suffer.
We're Met fans and Jet fans.
We don't get me suffer.
We know how to suffer.
Excellent. So, Mark, I know as a social entrepreneur and John's 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐧 is a social enterprise. Tell us how your journey started and where you are today. It's just amazing story. And before that, I would say thank you for our empathy socks, which John's 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐧 and your team has made. And thank you, John, for delivering it in person to our Somerset office. We truly appreciate that, personalized service which you gave us for our empathy socks.
You like that, delivering those socks right to Rangam, didn't you?
It's wonderful. It's a great time. It's amazing socks.
We have so much admiration, Nish, for what you're doing with Rangam. And yes, we make socks for businesses. So we made some great socks for you. And then John delivered them. That was good stuff, right?
Yeah, I love it.
It's but you asked about how we got started, and origin stories matter because they give us our DNA.
Yeah.
So for us, you'd have to go back to the fall of 2016. And our story starts in a small log cabin in the woods. No, not really. It starts in suburban Long Island outside New York City. And where were you?
I was at Huntington High School. I'm going to be in my lesson school.
So John, because it's his last year of school, it's like everybody else trying to figure out, what am I going to do next? And what were you looking at?
I like a job program at school. I don't like something I don't like.
He didn't say anything he liked.
Yeah, I don't.
And you knew you could do things. You had worked for me in an office. You had worked at a day camp.
Yes.
But Nish, that's the unfortunate reality for too many people with a different ability.
Yeah.
There just aren't enough opportunities.
Yeah.
The numbers are bad, right? The unemployment rate for people with different abilities is double the national average.
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell the real story.
Yeah.
Only 1 in 5 people with a disability is fully employed. It's awful. But John here, he's a natural entrepreneur.
Yes.
You didn't see a job you wanted. What did you say?
I want to create one. I want to make one.
What'd you tell me?
I told my dad I want to go business with him. And nice of us start business together.
Right? So how cool is that?
Yeah.
My youngest son comes to me and says, Dad, let's go into business together.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And I've got 3 sons, and this is one I can work with.
Right.
The most creative one.
He's the one, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
But then you have to come up with an idea of what are we going to do? You know, from working with entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Some of them are good ideas. I don't know. So what was one of your ideas?
One of my ideas of a food truck. I come idea from the movie Chef and John Favreau. The movie about a father and son buying a food truck.
So that sounds like a cool idea. We'd have a food truck. And what we're thinking, what could we make? Where would we put it? But we ran into a problem.
We can't cook.
Yeah, we could. So it wasn't going to be a food truck.
No.
But then, right before Thanksgiving, John
I
had
have
his
brilliant idea.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, they did.
What'd you say?
I want to sell crazy socks. Why socks? It's fun. It's colorful. It is creative. It always let me be me. I want crazy socks my whole life.
We used to drive around looking for these socks. So we figured this. If John loved them that much, surely other people would too.
Yeah.
We could find our tribe.
Yeah.
So we didn't do the traditional business plan. We went the lean startup route. We built an online store, got a minimal up. We got some inventory.
Yeah.
We were bootstrapping. We recently got asked by a high school student, what does bootstrapping mean?
Yeah.
It means you have no money. You got to make do with what you have. So the only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page, and I would take out my cell phone and we made videos. And who do you think was in those videos?
I'm talking about socks. Socks, more socks.
And so what day did we open?
We opened Friday, December 9th, 2016.
And we didn't know what to expect. But that first day, we got what felt like a flood of orders. And most of them were local. We're in the town of Huntington, and John was in a high school there. That's where we lived. We had temporary office space. So what did we do with those first orders?
Our home deliveries, regular red boxes. I put a sock in the box, and I put I put it in. I put a sticky note I wrote. I put all the bags of 100 cases. 100 cases the box. A little car. I go knock at doors. Customer response. They love the socks, and they took a picture with the socks and me.
There we go.
And share
I did that too. We did it a little different.
Right.
You took my empathy, our empathy T-shirt, and we took your socks together. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes, and customers share it on social media. A word against a spread.
Yeah.
Yes.
So by the end of that first month, we had really 2 weeks. We had shipped 452 orders, and we knew we had something we could build.
Yeah.
We learned a few things.
1, people want to buy socks. 2, people want to buy socks from me.
They related to John. They liked that personal touch of the home delivery, the thank you note, the candy. They liked the fact we had already pledged 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And it was something that surprised us. We got a very emotional response from people because they saw a young man with Down syndrome starting his own business. Plus, and you know this from starting running your business, you learn by doing. There's so much you have to learn. And we learned that this young man,
This is old man.
this old man, we can sell socks. So that's where we started. Today, how many different socks do we have?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks.
4,000, which means John here owns the world's largest sock store. We have shipped over 390,000 orders to 88 different countries. We've been able to create 34 jobs. 22 of those are held by people with different abilities.
Beautiful.
We had happy customers. We have 30,000 five-star reviews. And we've raised over $550,000 for our charity partners.
Beautiful.
All because John said we should sell socks.
Yes. And Rangam, this is such a coincidence. This Sunday we are going to attend one of the largest staffing industry event by staffing industry analyst SIA, where there will be over 1,000 buyers coming to this event, and Rangam is going to spread empathy through John's crazy socks with our customers next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So socks is spreading not only happiness but also building awareness about on empathy at workplace.
That's
so
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Right.
Thank you.
We have a lot in common.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So we have a mission to, what's our mission?
Our spreading happiness.
Spreading happiness. And what do you say are the keys to spreading happiness?
It's gratitude and do for others.
Gratitude, do for others.
Beautiful.
You know, I see that with you, Nish. The more we can do for others, the better off we are.
So beautiful. I chill in my whole entire body. So amazing work. And thank you for joining us and sharing this wisdom and such a wonderful message. Mark, I know, we all entrepreneurs, we always, there are some struggles, challenges. I think you briefly mentioned some of the challenges, but you recently, with the whole COVID and, what are, how are you guys doing now as a social enterprise?
I think COVID has been fascinating, in the way it challenged businesses. And there are a couple of things. One, every business, you have to know what you're about, what your purpose is. What Simon Sinek will call your why. You got to know that. You got to know what your values are.
Yeah.
Because when things go south, and they will, that will be your North Star. So when we got hit with COVID, and it was terrible, it cost our business hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm not complaining. People lost their lives.
Yeah.
How do you respond? Well, you have to know what you're about, and you got to know your values. For us, the first thing was to make sure everybody was safe. In the eyes of New York, we were an essential business because we run a warehouse. Go figure. But many of our colleagues were particularly vulnerable. I mean, John, for example, people with Down syndrome are not more likely to get the virus, but they would be 5 times more likely to be hospitalized.
Oh, wow.
More likely to die. So we had to be very careful.
Absolutely.
Then you say, how do you adapt? So what do? We give tours. We move those online. We move our speaking engagements online.
Yeah.
Then you say, what new opportunities does this create? So we started selling masks. We heard from nonprofits that had their fundraisers shut down, right? They weren't doing golf tournaments or walks or races. So what did we do? we set up a charity fundraising program to meet that need. We sold masks. What's our mission?
Spread happiness.
How do you spread happiness if everything's shut down and everybody's isolated? Well, here are two things we did. We started a dance party. So what do you do every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, I would at a day party every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Either time.
John hosts this online dance party. What's more fun to spreading happiness than host a dance party?
Absolutely.
We started a Facebook Live show, a spreading happiness show. How could we reach and just put a smile on people's faces? And that has now evolved. So we do a podcast, a weekly podcast. What's that called?
The Spreading Happiness Podcast.
The Spreading Happiness Podcast with John and Mark. So you get hit with the pandemic. If you know what you're about, you find a way to move forward. You find a way to not only survive, but to thrive.
Yeah.
And I learned something from a parent at a Special Olympic soccer practice. And there were a couple people, a couple business owners, and they were asking, what did you do during the pandemic? And then she observed that families that have a child with a disability, they're always adapting. They're always figuring out how do you get things done.
Yeah.
So after a while, you say, oh, a pandemic? That's all you got? This is nothing, right? And which I think speaks to the larger issue of diversity and inclusion. Because if you have a truly diverse organization where you embrace inclusion, then you have a lot of different paths forward. You have a lot of different perspectives on how you can frame a problem and move forward.
Yeah.
So that's one of the many benefits of that.
Yeah, and that is so powerful. And I have learned from you, Mark, that how very in an innovative, very different way you attract talent as a growing organization. Please share some of the things which you do at John's Crazy Socks, how you attract the differently able talent and they become part of this amazing organization.
Well, I think there are a couple of parts to this. One part starts with what we're about. So, part of our essence is showing what people with different abilities can do.
Yeah.
So we are open to hiring anybody.
Yeah.
And I think every business should be that way. And it's not altruism. It's good business. If you're a business, you want to hire the best possible people. You might put in a caveat for what we can afford. Okay. But if you exclude a population for an arbitrary reason, by definition, you cannot now hire the best possible people. Right? And you have to go into it focusing on what people can do, not what they can't do. So how do we approach this? Well, first, we don't start the day we have an opening.
Yeah.
We're always taking our process and turning that into content. And we share that on social media and in public events. What does that mean? Lots of people have insights into what we do. They see the type of business we are. We're very open. We're transparent. Part of that, we welcome in tours and work groups from high schools and social service agencies. So lots of people come through here. We've had over 1,000 students come through. They can see what type of business we are. We also get to see people in these work groups. So now, when it's time to go hire, we've already got a head start. We've developed relationships with schools and with local organizations. We work with the NAACP to make sure that we're truly inclusive. And when we go to post a job, we don't start by saying, okay, we need somebody who can do A, B, and C. We start by saying, we're on a mission to spread happiness. Come and join our mission. Come and join the adventure. Come and be part of this. And here's how, because we need somebody who can do A, B, and C. But we're looking for volunteers, in a sense of people that are excited by what we do, who want to be here. We're looking for those people. And what matters first and foremost is that attitude and the buy-in to our culture. Skills matter the least. And don't get me wrong. You got to have sufficient skills. But that only takes you so far. You've got to have people that want to be here. So that's the approach we take to hiring. And that combination of making sure that people know what we're about, of sharing the mission, that commitment to inclusion, that gives us a competitive advantage. So you're worldwide, but you're down in Jersey, and in the Northeast here, there's a growing labor shortage. But we were just in Texas, and a week before that, we're in Fargo, North Dakota. I listened to business owners with the same issues. Can't find enough good workers. Well, guess what? We get a surplus of people because of whom we hire. It's not because we're special people. It's because we're open to hiring the best possible people. And that inclusion gives us a competitive advantage.
Beautiful. Yeah, Mark, we speak the same language. In my personal experience in this journey has been, when we talk about our mission and the impact we would like to make, the right people get attracted, and they want to join hands and contribute, and that is so powerful. Of course, the skills and some of the things are needed, but that added force is so important for any organizational growth and innovation and new ideas. Like you started a dance party during the time when everybody's struggling, and say, hey, let's give everybody an opportunity to give a break from some of those stressful days and moments. So John and Mark, you mentioned about you shared some of how you serve your customers, but I know you are a big collaborator. And how do you collaborate and partner with other organizations in this amazing journey?
We're always looking for opportunities to work with other organizations. So here's one example. We're going to we have a line of what we call awareness socks, and they raise awareness and celebrate causes and raise money for those causes. So what was the first awareness sock we created?
Down syndrome awareness.
Down syndrome awareness. And who designed that?
I did.
You did. So those celebrate people with Down syndrome. They raise awareness about what people with Down syndrome can do. And they raise money for two partners, the National Down Syndrome Society and a local group that runs schools and programs called ACDS. Well, you start, yes, we're going to make those awareness socks, but then it's what can we do together? So we sponsor events, say, with the National Down Syndrome Society, and we collaborate on things to show, look what people with Down syndrome can do. They co-sponsored with us. We did an event with Tom DiNapoli, who is the New York State Controller. We did an event, a public event that we live streamed on ABLE accounts, which are special savings accounts for people with disability, to try to educate people. So we did that together. This weekend in New York City, there will be the Buddy Walk, which is a big celebration and fundraiser sponsored by the National Down Syndrome Society. So we're a sponsor of that. We also made them Buddy Walk socks to raise money for them. And we help them with charity fundraiser events. So that's a way to collaborate, to shine a light on what they're doing. But it also introduces people to what we do.
That's right.
So We're going to make a new awareness sock. It's an adoption awareness sock to celebrate families that adopt children. We're working with a group called the 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔𝐓 for Adoption. So what we'll do is we'll make this sock and highlight things that organization does, and this will raise money for them. And it will celebrate people with adoption. Then we'll do some events together. We're always looking for ways to be able to collaborate with people.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. John and Mark, it's a great again. Really, we are thankful for your time. Before I conclude, I would love to hear a story. See if you can share something which is really close to your heart, something that our audience would love to listen to.
Well, let me share two examples, two things. So we always want to show what people with different abilities can do. And there's two sides to that coin. It's showing businesses and policymakers look at the advantages, the opportunities.
Yeah.
But it's also showing students and others, look what's possible for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we give these tours. We got a phone call the day after high school had come in from a teacher who brought her class in, who said, I want to tell you about one of my students, a young man with autism who was very difficult to reach. He came in the next day and he had printed out a picture of him and John. And he walked up to the teacher and handed it to the teacher and said, you see, I can do anything. How wonderful is that?
Oh, amazing.
Or I'll share about one of our colleagues, Thomas. Tell about Thomas. So we run our own pick and pack warehouse. What do we call our pickers? Sock wranglers. Back in October of 2017, we get a phone call. And this woman says, I hear you hire people like my son. You have to give my son a job. And our colleague said, okay, we're not hiring now, but we'll let you know. We'll post on our website, social media. Well, she called every day because she's a mom.
Yeah.
And I spoke to her and I said, tell me about your son. She said, well, he's in a bad way. He's in his early 20s. He has autism. He's very depressed. We have trouble getting him to come out of his room. He doesn't want to shower or shave. We can't get him to join any programs. She said, and he hasn't spoken to his father in over 6 months.
Oh, wow.
It's like, oh, sounds like a wonderful employee. When we had an opening, she called and said, bring Thomas out. Now, to get the job as a sock wrangler, we give you the training. You have to pass the sock wrangler test. You have to show us you can do the job, nothing extraneous. Thomas passes that test as if he was put on this earth to be a sock wrangler. Today, that young man, at 6:30 in the morning, he is showered and shaved and waiting for his father to drive him an hour to work. And when he gets here, the young man who wouldn't look at you and wouldn't talk to anybody goes around and says good morning to everybody here. And I want to be really clear. We did nothing. We have no special training, no special programs. All we did was give Thomas the opportunity to earn a job. And he does great work. And it becomes transformative. We are so fortunate to have Thomas work with us. Because at the end of the day, Nish, we're just a couple of knuckleheads selling socks. All we want to do,
Oh my God.
just change the world.
Change the world. John and Mark were just, I wish I would could continue this conversation, but just love this. You guys are amazing. Wishing you all the best. Spread happiness and awareness on different ability of individuals and how they can be productive, how they can spread awareness is a perfect example of not only just entrepreneurial spirit, but changing the way society thinks and sees employment. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. Looking forward to see you in person soon, sometime, somewhere, or maybe in one of your road show. I have learned that you have some road shows planned. So wishing you all the best on that, and thank you again.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Nish.
Thank you so
This has
much.
been great. And Shamika, thank you for helping us communicate this.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll continue this conversation, in our REDi chat and spreading awareness on diversity and inclusion and empathy, and bringing in some amazing individuals who is really making a huge impact.
Yeah.
Yes.
John wants to add something. You got to give a plug.
Go ahead.
You can find us at johncrazysocks.com.
John.
Excellent.
Right.
Excellent. And John, I'm going to reach out to you. I will be looking for a small video on John's Crazy Socks, making empathy socks, which I'm going to promote that or share at SIA. So I'm going to reach out to you after this call, after this session. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful remaining of the day. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.